here. Been through hell and back. I am here. I am stronger than I know I'm gonna be fine. I am here.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Golden's Guide. I'm Deborah Hawkins, your host, and I'm here with co-host Lyanca. She's coming in from Austin, so glad to have her. And today I've got a special episode. I want you to meet Dave Waters. He runs the Golden Strip Music School here in Greenville, South Carolina, and I've known Dave for probably a year now, and he's one of my favorite people. Not only has he been a prayer warrior for me through my whole journey, he's just a great man, and he does a lot of good things for so many people. He's got a big giving heart, and I'm so excited for him to talk about what he does with us today. So welcome, Lyanca and Dave.
Hi, so great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm excited, and now that you've made me blush, my ears will probably be red through the entire show. So.
Well, you know, I have to say, I remember when we first met. I mean, I just kind of clicked with you from the very beginning, and of course, I was so impressed with your facility. There's nothing else like it in the upstate, and it's just helping so many children. So, why don't you begin by just telling the audience a little bit about Golden Strip Music?
Well, we are a school unlike any other. We not only have your standard music lessons, we have our own performance area with drum kits and amplifiers and a grand piano for the piano students to use. We also have a podcast studio. Mm-hmm. We do none of this cool video stuff that you're doing, but we do the audio version of it. And one of the main things we like to do is not just keep students isolated in lessons, but teach them how to be in a band. So we'll grab students that are same age range, same musical tastes if possible, and we'll teach them how to be in a band. Because there are dynamics of being in a band. How to get along with each other. If they're older teenagers or adults, maybe we also throw in the business aspect of being in a band, because there's that, how not to get ripped off by a club owner.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point, something as simple as making sure that your van is locked so your equipment doesn't get stolen is something that we find we might have to cover.
Yeah. Before you jump in, Lyanca, I did just want to say one of the reasons I wanted to do the show is because for me, during this journey in the last year of divorce and healing from the heart issue, music is just so important to me. I think it is to anyone, in sad times and good times. I mean, music is it speaks to everyone's soul. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have Dave on is because I want to take lessons myself. So I wanted everyone to know it's not just a school of music for children, but it's also, you have adults in there as well.
We do, and last night we had our first adult guitar camp. They're all students that take guitar at our school, and it was led by our head guitar teacher, Shauna Allen, and they had a great time. There was a lot of laughter and whooping it up, and they're going to learn to play certain songs, and one of our adult drum students will come in and play drums with them too.
Yeah,
and
I love
hopefully
that.
One of our bass students.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm so excited. I know. I'm so excited to actually, y'all. I want to learn how to play the drums. That's probably. I hope you're not rolling your eyes over here when I don't look.
No,
but,
not at all. I'm excited. I can't wait to have you there.
It'll be fun. And also for the audience at home, they don't know this, but Lyanca is an amazing singer. So we've already talked about when she comes out here again, Dave, we want her to come in and lay down a track and have everybody play, have the band, and
You know what else would be great is if we can get her to come up during one of our parking lot promotions. And
yes,
that's one of the things where we put our outdoor stage out, and then all the students play something. It's a mix of students together. Sometimes we throw in some teachers with them. And it's just a great time. And we usually have some kind of benefit. The last one was for scholarships for students that can't afford music lessons. And we just have a great time. And I think it would be awesome to see you two up on stage together
Oh
on,
yeah.
on the outdoor stage. And I don't know what kind of music you do, whether you're going to do a
Uh-oh.
R&B or you're going to do
Uh-oh.
rock and roll. What are we going to do?
Well, probably a little of both. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that, well, unless I get her to do it, but I used to be a lead singer for a Tejano band while I was in high school and college.
A what
So
band? A what band?
I was the lead singer for a Tejano band. So
What does that
during the
mean?
time-
Lyanca,
it's
I don't,
like,
what is it?
it's like if you're familiar with Selena Quintanilla, well, especially since this is a Hispanic month, she sang songs in Spanish that were really close to the heritage of like Texas. It has more of like a conjunto sound, very popular down here in the South amongst everybody. So if you just look up Selena or Selena Forever, I covered a lot of songs from there. And but talking about the importance of being in a band at that age, because it was actually my I grew up in a band family, so much older folks around me. But there are a lot of dynamics and a lot of business that really does go into the back end of learning band. And there's a lot of lessons I learned too that I was able to bring to today. In fact, I'm in marketing and advertising because I worked in radio because music was that important to me. Can you tell us a little bit about how you encourage not only young people, but people like me to come back to music? I think it's so cool. I would love to be in there in a jam session any day like right now.
And that's one of the things that we do. One of my favorite things is when we have a prospective student or a new student comes in for the first time and they see our facility. It starts right when you walk in the door. You know you're someplace different. We had a designer do our entrance for us, and he did a lounge for us. So we got this great lounge. It's nicer than my living room. It's great.
It is pretty cool.
People love it. They can hang out there. Mom and Dad can get work done because it's kind of far away from all the instruments, so they're not hearing every little thing that's going on. And then the best part is when we go around the corner where the performance area is, and they see our indoor stage with the drum kit up there and the amplifiers and the cameras and the mixers, and they just go nuts. And to see the look on their face, that's really all the recruiting I have to do. By the time they see that, they're begging mom and dad, or if it's an adult, they're dying to get in the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted you to share too, just a little bit about why and how you opened the
school.
The school.
Well, it was because in 2012, I had kind of an unfortunate snowboarding accident, which ended up in 2013. I had brain surgery. Prior to all that, I'd been mostly in garage bands. We barely got out of the parents' basement kind of stuff, but I loved music. I'd played guitar since I was in 8th grade. And so I ended up having that brain surgery in 2013. And I was like, well, I'm stuck home for weeks. I might as well start playing again. My brain wasn't wired properly anymore. Whatever happened, I would try to do, say, a C chord, and maybe I'd do an A minor or something weird, or a G out of nowhere, and the fingers would be wrong. So I knew I wasn't going to be playing in a band or doing anything like that anymore. So I wanted to stay in the music business. And so I started thinking of ways to stay in the music business. I thought about getting into production. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I thought about getting into like booking bands, things like that, being management. And that wasn't working for me. Then I came up with the idea of a music school. And it took me a bunch of business plans and a bunch of pleading with my wife to let me basically take my entire life savings and put into this school. But I wanted it to be something different. I knew from when my children took lessons and when I took lessons, it was always just part of the music school, or the music store. So the music school was kind of an afterthought. It was kind of like, we just had this music lesson so that you'll buy a new guitar or new drums or a new piano. And so we have no retail other than some accessories students might need. If a string breaks during a lesson, we can do a quick change for them.
Yeah.
So that's how I get into it.
Yeah. Well, I love that story, and I think it's so inspiring for other people, hearing that, and the fact that you've taken something that is a real challenge, but turned it into something that you still love. And I know you love seeing people. I've seen your face. We've worked together. I've seen your face when your students are playing, and it's just it's just awesome to see. And I love that you've taken something that is a challenge and turned it into something really great for a lot of people.
Right.
So,
I definitely wanted it to be something totally different that wasn't anywhere around Greenville. So,
well, it is.
I hope we've succeeded in that, but
I
that
feel
was the challenge.
sure. I feel sure that that's the case. It's nothing like I've ever seen, and for kids as well. And I know, Lyanca, you had some questions about. You have a young son, and he's interested in music. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, and I also wanted to. I think we both wanted to ask eventually what is adaptive music lessons. But before we ask that, I just wanted to share that my son, when in the peak of the pandemic, everyone was kind of locked down, and my son was for the first time having to do homeschool. So there was a lot of screen time that we all weren't accustomed to. And so finally I had to just kind of put the kibosh down on the screen time. And I mean, computers, games, during as an only form of entertainment. And when we did, he picked up a xylophone and started playing tunes by ear. And then we pulled out an old keyboard, and he started to teach himself how to play, Star Wars, different tunes, The Weeknd, it's a popular band, and then just by ear. And so we bought him a keyboard for his birthday. Now I know all kids are probably not going to, be the type that just wants to easily, just pick up a new instrument. What are the benefits that we could share with our young ones to inspire that? Like, what are some of the benefits that they get from learning music?
One of my favorite benefits is the fact that because it ends up involving both sides of your brain, it actually makes you smarter. And you will see better school grades when children are involved with music. You will see better behavior because it's kind of a reward thing for them to be able to play, to get to the lessons. It helps them with social circles because you're going to expand your social circle because you're going to be hanging around people with the same interests.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine confidence too.
Oh, absolutely, because they're on a journey of self-discovery. So they definitely build self-confidence.
And Lyanca, I've had the opportunity to see some kids on stage at some of the benefits he was talking about, the parking lot benefits he was talking about, and to see two kids up there just jamming on, Jimi Hendrix is just for those of us who, are old rock and rollers. I mean, it was
those two brothers. They were incredible.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. And I think that is, David, my son, and I talked about, that was one of the most fun things we had seen, and I don't know when, watching kids have so much fun and be so into it and be on stage and, be able to project that confidence.
Right. And we've actually got some students that formed their own band, and they named it Carpool because that's how they met. Was the school Carpool. So the three of them, they've got probably 40, 50 songs they've learned in less than a year.
Yeah.
The three of them. One of them is we call him our guitar prodigy, Jeremy. And the kid is just incredible. He'll practice 3 hours a day if you let him.
I've heard him play too.
Yes, he's incredible. And he's the lead guitarist and now singer of this band.
Oh,
Carpool.
Wow.
And they crack me up. They're getting gigs. They win talent shows.
That's so cool.
We had two little ones, Thomas and I'm going to get his name wrong. I want to say Austin, that played together. They did Wild Thing, and they won their talent competition at school.
Oh, awesome.
And they're both 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Maybe 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm terrible with ages.
Well, I have to say, I think it was the first benefit you did, and there was a young lady, and I think she was like 7 or 8, playing the drums,
Hannah.
and she was the one who inspired me. I was like,
Love it.
okay, if this 7-year-old can do it, maybe I can face my fears and
Absolutely.
and do it.
And it's so much fun,
Yeah, yeah.
especially once. What I ask all my teachers what your favorite part of teaching is, and they always say it's the moment when a student may have been struggling with something, and they get it, and it's that aha moment, and the look on the student's face that they've nailed it. It's just every teacher lives for that. They love it.
I want to mention that too. Your teachers are so phenomenal, and I know you feel so lucky to have those guys. I've met many of the teachers, and they love what they're doing. They're so passionate about it. How do you think you got so lucky finding those great teachers? I mean,
Well, it started with the first two I recruited, Kevin Hoyer and Sean Allen. Kevin
Yeah.
was actually the very first teacher that I recruited. He was my son's drum teacher.
Oh,
So
wow.
I knew how he could play the drums, and I knew how good he could teach. So I approached him and said, this is what I'm thinking of doing. If you come along, I think I can do it. Without him and without Sean, there's no way I could have done this because they've guided me. They know the music side of stuff, and I'm the businessman, basically. I come up with ideas, and they'll either laugh at me or they'll tell me they're good, which is exactly what I need. I need somebody to tell me, no, Dave, you can't do that.
yeah.
So
Well, you've
having
done.
those two's been a godsend, and they've helped me recruit other teachers.
Yeah, you've done a great job in influencing, I think, the teachers, and they get your vision. I mean, you can sense that when you talk to them of what you're trying to create there, and I think that's just
It-
awesome.
It sounds silly, but I tell people and tell my teachers, I love money. We all love money. I've got bills to pay, but I really, really love happy teachers because that was another thing I saw. The teachers were just ignored. And if they needed something, they had to pay the music store for it. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not how this should be.
Yeah.
If you want something really weird, I'm probably going to make you pay for it. But no, drum set needs new drum heads. Those are my drums, not yours. I will pay to have them new heads put on,
Right.
not you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want my teachers happy. I give them everything they need so that all they have to worry about is teaching. They don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, happy teachers create happy students, and no matter what kind of teacher that is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love that. Lyanca, you had a question about the music therapy, I think.
Yeah, one of the things. So I'm really familiar with like music and recovery. It's really big here. I live in Austin, Texas. We are the live music capital of the world. So you've got a lot of people that use music as a form of form of recovery from whether it's addictive behaviors. But I saw that you also have. Music therapy. Can you talk a little bit about how that works? I've never actually pursued it or viewed it in person, but I do see a lot of people and some of their spiked interest in that.
Sure. I was lucky enough to contact with Megan Daniels, and she owns Heartstrings Music Therapy Services in Greenville. And I was able to sweet talk her into coming and taking up residence upstairs in our building so that we could offer music therapy because from my own experience of losing my ability to play, I was like, I want music therapy in here. And she's board certified in South Carolina. Unfortunately, it's not licensed yet. They're trying. Sooner or later, it'll get there. But the big thing is you've got music therapy, and the goal of music therapy is actually non-musical. It's to help them with expressive communication. It will help them with social skills, cognitive skills, sensory processing. We also have it's a sensory room right next door to the main studio for it. And the sensory room, we could bring clients in that maybe when they got here, they were overstimulated. So they can go in the sensory room and there's stuff in there they can use and utilize that will bring them down a little bit. If they come in understimulated, there's stuff in there to bring them up. And so Megan can talk much more to this than I can. My job was just to get her there. She says like I said, the primary goal is non-musical, but she calls them the bonus prize is musical, including how to play an instrument if that presents itself as an option.
I don't know if you saw this clip, Lyanca, but remember when we did a piece on her, the news came out and talked to her, and I know there was a mom who went on camera to talk about how much her children, I think she had 2 girls with autism, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And what that music therapy had done for them. Can you?
It opened a whole new world for them. I'll give you a great example. This morning, she had a client come in, and the little guy was screaming his head off. He was not happy. Mom couldn't do anything with him. By the time he left, he's telling people, "I love you."
Oh.
I mean, I had never heard him talk before. And I've seen this with other clients. I've seen this with other clients where they come in and I'm like the greeter. I sit in an area where right near the front door where everybody can see me, and I say hi to everybody. And so even when the clients come in, I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And most of them ignore me. But every once in a while, she gets them to that point where when they leave, they'll say goodbye to me, or they'll say hi, or I'll get a little wave. And I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I told her today she's a miracle worker because that little guy was not in a good mood.
Well, I like to think you're really the miracle worker because you've created a space. You've found the teachers. I mean, I've watched you over the last year just pour your entire self into creating this for our city,
right.
And it's not even describable. I mean, we can sit here and talk about it, but everybody that has walked in your space has said this. It's like nobody gets it until you go in there and see what you've created, and you've literally almost thought of through everything.
All I can answer that is, oh, shucks. I try to make it. That's why you mentioned there's no bio of me on our website, because it's not about me. It's about the community. It's about our music industry. It's about my teachers. I would rather have them here for the interview than me. But I'm glad it's me.
Well, I wanted you.
Because I'm a talker sometimes, and
Well, I love you, Dave, so I wanted you here. So what do you think about her son being able just to pick that up and just
that's a gift. So you need to do everything you can to encourage that gift. I mean, if he can listen to stuff and teach himself to play it, that's amazing. So you need to nurture that gift. If piano's his thing, get him in piano lessons, whatever lessons you can get him in. If the school, how old is he?
He's 9, and right now he is at piano lessons. Thank goodness they offered at least one. The music teacher offered after school something, because I just didn't know what resources to go to. Of course, I'm here in Austin, and we just didn't. I just have never looked at it before. I've always been in choir, so I've never picked up an instrument. Right. Mainly because they kept putting me back in choir. That was my instrument, but it's been a blessing to see this really emerge from him, and I would love to foster it more.
Definitely give him every opportunity to do it, because it sounds like he's got a lot of potential, and I can tell by looking at you, it's a huge smile when you start talking about the fact that he's got piano lessons, that you're going to encourage him. I'm preaching to the choir here.
Speaking of choir, don't y'all have a choir now too?
We do. We have a community choirs for kids from 7th to 12th grade. It is so cool. It's run by Laura Morris, who was she was a teacher in the Greenville County school system, a music teacher, and she's with, I can't remember, she's somewhere out of the district now.
Right.
But she has stuck with us to do the choir, and they had their first recital in August, and it was incredible. Those kids did so good. And the fun part for me is I've got to listen to them when they practice every Thursday. Go from a bunch of kids where I thought there's no way she can put this together, because these kids were just like, they were
Animals.
everywhere. They're like crazy. They were teenagers. They are teenagers. And by the time it was recital time, she had them whipped into shape, and they were having a great time. She was having a great time. The audience loved it. I had a ball doing it. And it starts up again. I think Monday the 13th is when they're going to start practicing again. We break it into semesters.
Right.
So now we're going into, I guess this will be our fall semester.
Yeah. I love that. And like I said, you see, Lyanca, I mean, they have everything there, everything you possibly think of. Well, there's a lot more really that you do with the kids, but I'm here because I want to talk about adults.
Adults, yes.
And I guess my first thing is that, like, for me, I mean, I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I haven't even mentioned it to you.
Right. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
I know I've thought about it for a long time, but I think I'm probably like a lot of other people in that, I mean, Lyanca has musical talent, and she's had it since she was a kid. But for somebody like me that, I don't think I have any musical talent whatsoever. And I'm sure that's why I've not pursued it. I mean, it's, I've thought about it every once in a while, but, I'm kind of embarrassed because I feel like I would not, I'm going to be terrible. Or how do you speak to adults that are interested, but like me, like are old and,
Well, it's something our teachers they handle this. They know how to work with every age group. Every once in a while I'll get one, they'll say, I feel weird when I have to like come down on an older person that's a lot older than me, because they know they're not practicing or they're not paying attention or whatever. But to be embarrassed, no, nobody goes in to their first lesson and is John Bonham, for you Zeppelin fans out there.
Yeah.
There's no need to be embarrassed. You're there to learn, and the teacher's there to teach you. They don't mind teaching somebody that already knows how to play.
Yeah.
Because we have plenty of adults that already know how to play, and they come in and
Get tuned up and
they
better.
get tuned up. They get advanced lessons.
Yeah.
So as a beginner, our teachers love that kind of stuff because they can help mold you. And like I said, it's a journey of self-discovery for you. So never be embarrassed. You just go in there and have fun. It's just you and a teacher.
Yeah.
You're not there. We don't do group lessons. It's all private stuff. So
That's nice.
it'll just be you and Kevin.
Oh,
And
well,
you know
I
Kevin.
love Kevin.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And Kevin is an amazing drummer.
He is.
too.
He's
So,
incredible
yeah.
and an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with him
Yeah.
as your drum teacher.
Well, that's good to know because I'm going to let y'all follow me on this journey too. So, but again, I just think there's so much to be said about how music affects us, and especially, not just in good times, but in hard times. And it's interesting that this journey that I've been on, and I so appreciate you again. I know you and your wife have been praying for me, and I'm feeling so much better. It's like now I do want to open myself up to things that I've been embarrassed or thought I couldn't do.
Right. And that's another thing. I heard you mention talent. People are talented. Yes, there are some people with a natural born talent, like her son and his ability to just pick it up by ear. But any professional musician that you see, it's all practice.
Yeah.
They practiced, and that's how they got to where they are.
Right.
And it's because they had a love of whatever instrument it is, and a love of crossing the line. So they set a goal. Now I'm going to go past that goal and get better at this. I'm going to try this. And so that's why we love having adult students. And for you, what a great benefit is as an adult?
What?
Stress relief.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, we know
Yes.
we need that.
Because
Lyanca's saying, yes, give her some stress relief.
right, because learning to play an instrument, you're working with your fine motor skills, which I said before, it involves both sides of the brain, which increases blood flow to the brain, and it helps you relax.
Well, I guess music has an effect somewhat maybe like meditation and some other things where I guess you're using a different part of the brain.
Sure.
And so will I get smarter? I guess that's the big thing, Dave.
You know what? That's one of the things, because you got the cognitive benefits
Yeah.
of learning to play music. So yes, getting smarter is actually right here on my little thing here.
Oh, well, good. Well, good.
That
You
you
hear
can get
that, Lee?
smarter. It actually can compensate for any cognitive decline. So as we get older,
Really?
we all start to go downhill, but it can compensate for that.
So
That
I
makes
should be.
sense. That makes
So,
total sense to me. I was going to say,
yeah.
and it raises your vibration because music is a frequency.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, and because I put here that music's a universal language.
Yeah.
So once you know how to play an instrument and if you can read music, it's the same no matter where you go in the world. Music is music.
Mm-hmm.
Notation is the same. So you could take a piece of music. Nobody in the room speaks the same language, but you can all play the same piece together.
Great.
Let me ask you this. I've always wondered, is it the same part of the brain that understands how to read music that is really good at math, or is that just a myth?
No, that's our Sean Allen swears by that.
Ah,
So he says he treats music reading almost as math.
Oh, really?
So yes,
Oh,
it is.
I was terrible at math.
Well, you got to now. Drum notation is totally different.
Oh, okay.
So you're not gonna have to worry about all the notes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay.
If
This tells me to hit the snare. This tells me to hit the tom.
right.
This tells me to hit the cymbal.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, if I can dance and keep a beat, would that mean I could play drums?
If you practice,
If I practice.
and if you have the right teacher.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, counting. It's all about counting.
Counting. Yeah.
One of the things you'll find is when you practice, if you count out loud while you're practicing, it makes you better.
Interesting.
So there goes your math.
Yeah.
Because you got to count to do it.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to start this journey. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm going to invite all of y'all along on the journey. I'll have to take my camera, and Lyanca, he's already put it out there. When you come back out here, I mean, we're going to have to play together. You've
got to let me know when she's coming.
Oh, this would be
for sure.
awesome. This would be so awesome. Oh,
I can't wait to see the studio. I really am jazzed about it. I'm like, I wish I could just go there now, and I wish Bryson could come, and I wish I could go hang out. I mean, there's just something very special about music and just being in that environment, and I miss it. I mean, it's been so long for me that that my heart calls for it still.
Well, you're in Austin. You should be able to find a bunch of bandmates pretty easy.
I know.
Right?
well, between what she does and how busy I keep her, it's kind of like
there's no time for the music.
Yeah,
you have to make time for the music.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds like that's a good metaphor right there. Make time for the music.
One of our head piano teacher, Carol Horn, she gave me a great line yesterday when I was asking about the whole adult student thing, and she said, "We all need more beauty in our lives. Fill the gap with music."
Amen to that. Amen to that. I mean, you're right. Music is the universal language, and I want everybody to go follow Dave at goldenstripmusicschool.com. And how is it listed on Instagram?
At GS Music SC.
Okay. And we'll be sure to put that in the show notes. And did you have any other questions, Lee? Other than are you gonna sing?
I promise we will make an appearance for a good cause.
For a good cause.
If you need a tune-up, we have a great vocal teacher. She'll get you set right.
I love that.
See what I mean? He has everything. I know. So for anyone who is thinking about music for their children, any type of music therapy, or if you're an adult like me and wants to bring the kid out in them again and cross something off your bucket list, then this is your place. And Dave is such a great guy, and we thank you for being here. Lee, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I just want to say, thank you for being with us. Thank you for being golden as well.
Oh, shucks.
We talked
That's
about
right, we got that in
We
common, don't
talked
we?
about
Yep.
that. She was the one who brought it up. She
Yep.
was like, because we're noticing everything golden.
Everything golden.
Everything
Yep.
golden. Yeah. So we're all golden. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Dave.
thank you so much for having me. It's been a
Yeah.
blast.
I love you so much.
Love you
and
too.
I
It's great
love
to see
your,
you.
great to see you. And until next time, everyone, stay golden. And we're still here next time.
I am here after all my tears. I am here, facing